Alright, Kubo and the Two Strings was fantastic. Now, let's see how much money it's making out in the box office out of curiosity. Oh, come on! I think we've done it, folks. I seriously think we've actually succeeded here. I believe we have actually found a contender for the best animated picture, if not the best film at the Oscars next February.
Kubo! Kubo! Can you hear me, Kubo? Your village is burned to the ground. Your enemies aren't far behind. We need to go now.
Our first movie tonight is Kubo and the Two Strings, the stop-motion animation film that made me feel like a child again. The film takes place in ancient Japan and focuses on this young boy called Kubo who goes on a quest with his friends to find an indestructible armour to take down demons that are starting to come back into his life. Now, I did mention that the film is made using stop-motion animation. As a huge fan of that genre and as someone who's made films within that particular frame, this instantly attracted me to go and see it. The way this movie is animated is brilliant. You can tell that they put the biggest amount of effort that they possibly could into every single frame. Every last one of them. They also made the characters to be very likeable as well, one such person being someone called Monkey, voiced by Charlize Theron. She helps to guide Kubo on his quest for greatness. One other character who I did like was a guy called Beetle, voiced by Matthew McConaughey. I'll admit, I didn't know Matthew McConaughey was voicing this guy. I honestly thought at first that the guy was being voiced by Billy West, because in the trailer he kind of sounded like Zapp Brannigan.
I am the man with no name, Zapp Brannigan, at your service.
Stealth is my middle name.
Even though he does play a very important role in the story, he is mostly there, as it seems to be, for the comic relief. However, though, there wasn't a single moment with him that I didn't like. There was some great representation as well. We got some strong, independent female characters that show just how powerful they are. And if there's anything I've learned from the reviews for this year's reboot of Ghostbusters, is that we really need more representation in the media. And frankly, Kubo and the Two Strings does that superbly. There's also a fixed concentration on a small number of characters too. The dialogue is mostly between the three main roles in the film. Sometimes when films do this, it doesn't normally work out, but this time it led to some fantastic character development. It also kind of reminded me of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Even though there's this big surrounding story focusing on the War of the Ring, the main focus is on the Fellowship of the Ring, and that's kind of being brought back with this film. One thing though that does annoy me has nothing to do with what's in the film in question. Instead, it's with the box office returns. This film is bombing in gross, whilst movies like 9 Lives and My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 are coming back with big profits. It just shows that the more effort you put into your work, the less money it's going to make back. You know what? I'm beginning to see now why Unfriended made so much money.
Well, the glitch just typed.
There was nothing bad that I could really say about this film. This was an emotional thrill ride from beginning to end, and it's brilliant for children as well. Seriously, I recommend you take your kids to see this. Guys, Kubo and the Two Strings gets an A+. I've only given that to Deadpool this year, and it felt so good to see another movie that I could give that rating to. It's so good to finally see something original, with creativity, a great plot, and with heart as well. It really does give you hope for humanity. You just had to kill the mood, didn't you?
You really think your sister could still be out there after all these years?
If there is any chance that I could find out what happened to her, I need to try.
Legend said there's been a curse on these woods.
Do you believe in the stories about the Blair Witch?
Our next movie tonight is Blair Witch, the direct sequel to the Blair Witch Project, which we all clearly begged for, didn't we? Just like we all wanted a 5th Ice Age movie. The film takes place sometime after the original and focuses on the main character who decides to go back into the woods to go and find his sister because that's where he thinks that she disappeared all those years ago. Off the bat, I immediately thought that this film was going to be awesome. I was even reserving it a spot on my worst movies of 2016 list. However though, there were some parts that genuinely surprised me. This movie does rely a lot on the nostalgia that the original gave us, which is why I don't really think that this movie did a good job at creeping us out. The last 10 minutes though were really good and they do a great job at trying to scare you. If you've seen the original Blair Witch Project, you already know what's going to happen in the last 10 minutes here. However, you can tell that there was less hype surrounding this than when the first film came out back in 1999. When the Blair Witch Project came out, people thought it was literally all found footage. A lot of people thought that what they saw was real. That's what added to the creepiness of it, because we hadn't seen anything like that before. Kind of like Cannibal Holocaust as well back in 1980. That film was considered to be so realistic back then that the director was taken to court because he was accused of killing his actors. One other film that this did remind me of was The Visit, and in that sense, I mean that for the majority of the film, it was rather dull and uninteresting, but the last 20 minutes are creepy and downright scary. This, however, was one of those times, and nothing proves that more than the jump scares. Oh my god! Every 2 minutes these things appear on screen and they're not even that scary either. Most of the time it's either someone's phone vibrating or the camera deciding to switch off. Are horror movie directors still not listening to the fact that people are sick and tired of seeing these all the time? And once again, you can even see them coming. The scene goes completely quiet. There's no surround sound whatsoever, and then out of nowhere, boo! And now I'm left irritated because horror movie directors clearly have no idea what the word suspense means. I came to the cinema to see Blair Witch, not The Gallows. This was one of those times which made me think, Jesus Christ, Haunted House was scarier than this. Despite the last part of the movie being really good, the nostalgia was pretty much all this film relied on. There's nothing new that's actually added to the table. In Age of Ultron, we got to see more new locations, as well as the addition of extra Avengers as well. In Kung Fu Panda 2, they upped the scales by showing the villain's rise to power before the final showdown at the end. I did think that this was going to be a reboot at first, but thanks to the last 10 minutes being creepy and really getting under your skin, I'm going to be giving the Blair Witch a C-. Found footage has always been my least favourite subgenre of horror, and frankly, given that it's starting to die off, maybe soon we can go back to having good films again, with actual creativity and with good writing in it. Guys, thank you so much for watching this review. Before I go, I just want to say, I'm really sorry, but this is going to be the last episode of this series that I'm going to be making for some time. I say this because I'm off to university soon, and by soon I mean Sunday. I'm going to be explaining it all in my next video, but don't worry, I'm not going to be cancelling Double Review. I'm going to make an episode every chance I get the opportunity. Okay, so don't worry, it's not ending. And so, other than that guys, I've been Tartarus Pictures, and I will see you later. Good night.